Great morning. Welcome to Triple M Monday Morning Motivation. I'm going to be one of your hosts today, Aubrey Clark. We're going to have a bunch of people sharing. And as always, we're here to start strong our week. And we're trying to get Roxy and Toby on, but Toby wasn't having it. But we're here to start our week strong so that our week follows suit. You know, they say that your brain waves are the most susceptible to new information first thing in the morning. So that's why we do it at 8 a.m. I don't know about you guys if you ever thought, man, why do they do it 8 a.m.? It's because we want to impress new ideas upon your brain, mind, conscious, subconscious, so that you just start living a better life every single day. We can always get better. So today's video is going to be the art, or they call it the skill of self-confidence. And it's a TED Talk. TED Talks are like these forums put together about great ideas. This one has about 6.5 million views. So that shows you that it's something that's providing value for a lot of people, if that many people wanted to watch this video. It's by a guy named Dr. Ivan Joseph, and he's going to be talking about building the skill of self-confidence. So we're going to watch this video, get a few shares after, and get started on Monday better than when we woke up. So without further ado, welcome Dr. Ivan Joseph.
In my past life as a soccer coach, once you win a national championship, everybody wants to come play for you. Really not true. Once you pay them $25,000 a year in scholarships, everybody wants to come play for you. And parents would always come to me and they'd say, okay, my son or my daughter wants to come play at your university. What is it that we have to do? What are you looking for? And being the Socratic professor that I am, I was, well, what does your son or daughter do? What do they do really well that we'd be interested in? And typically their answers are, well, they've got great vision. They're really good. They can see the entire field. Or my daughter is the fastest player. There's nobody that can beat her. Or my son's got a great left foot, or really, really great in the air and can hit every ball. I'm like, yeah, not bad. But to be quite honest with you, those are the last things I'm looking for. The most important thing, self-confidence. Without that skill, and I use the word skill intentionally, without that skill, we are useless as a soccer player. Because when you lose sight or belief in yourself, we're done for. I use the definition of self-confidence to be the ability or the belief to believe in yourself to accomplish any task, no matter the odds, no matter the difficulty, no matter the adversity. The belief that you can accomplish it, self-confidence. Some of you are saying, great, I don't have it. I'm so shy. I'll never do that. And you start to drag all the way down here. But I use the word skill because I believe it can be trained. And I'll show you a couple of ways in which we do. Hopefully I won't run out of time. I don't use any slides because my speech always goes here or here or here. So we'll see which way we get to. The easiest way to build self-confidence. There's no magic button. I can't say, hey, this plane is going down. Who can fly it? Put your hand up. I can. I'm confident. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Right? What does Malcolm Gladwell call it? The 10,000-hour rule? There's no magic button. I recruited a goalie from Colombia, South America one year. Big, tall, 6'3" man. He had hands like stone. I thought he was like Flipper. Every time I throw him the ball, down onto the ground. I was like, oh my God, we're in trouble. Simple solution. Get to the wall, kick a ball against the wall and catch it. Kick the ball against the wall and catch it. His goal was 350 a day for 8 months. He came back. His hands were calloused. The moisture on his hands were literally gone. He is now playing in Europe. Magic? No. Repetition, repetition, repetition. The problem is we expect to be self-confident, but we can't be unless the skill or the task we're doing is not novel, is not new to us. We want to be in a situation where we've had so much pressure in that. And what I mean, because pressure builds diamonds, we want to be in a situation where, hey, I've done this 1,000 times. I did my speech. I practiced in front of the mirror. Hey, I'm sounding good. And then I read in front of my kids and my wife. It's like, oh gosh, I got a little nervous. Then I get in front of Glenn Gould. Oh my goodness, I'm a little more nervous. By the time I get to the ACG, where 2,500 people, can't say anymore, right? 2,500 people, where 2,500 people are there, I won't have a single ounce of nervousness because of my ability to practice, right? Over and over and over again. The problem with competition is How many of us fail after the first bit of failure? How many of us fail after the first bit of adversity? Edison was on that video. And depends who you ask, there's anywhere from 1,000 to 10,000 tries to build that light bulb. 1,000 to 10,000. J.K. Rowling should be on that video. You know how many publishers she took her Harry Potter book to? I believe the number was 12 or 13. I'm pretty confident, but after 2 or 3 no's, I'd be like, dang it. After 6 or 7, I'm like, maybe not. Definitely after 9 or 10, I'd be looking to be a soccer coach or something else beside an author, right? I mean, 12 times somebody said no. But practice, 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 and do not accept failure. Maybe it shouldn't be repetition. Maybe the answer should be persistence, because we all repeat something, but very few of us really will persist. So that's one way to build self-confidence. Get out there, do what you want to do, and do not accept no. The other one is self-talk. We all have a self-talk tape that plays in our head. Anybody go shopping and put on a pair of pants this week? If you're a woman, the first thing that always comes, damn, I look fat in these pants. And if you're a man, it's the opposite. Oh, God, I have no muscle. I'm so flabby, right? We all have this tape that plays in our head. As a student, if they asked me the question, it was like, oh, gee, please, professor, don't pick me. I don't know the answer. I look down, right? If you're let me tell you something. And the VP of Business Admin is here, so I shouldn't repeat this. But when they hired me as National Athletic Director, I sat in an architect's meeting, and I am about as dumb as a post when it comes to anything to do with numbers and angles. And they're like, the fundibulator valve of the architectural, what do you think, Dr. Joseph? Let me look into that for you and get back to you. Right? I was sitting there, God, please don't ask me. Please don't ask me. We all have this negative self-talk that goes in our head. Guess what? There's enough people that are telling us we can't do it, that we're not good enough. Why do we want to tell ourselves that? We know for a fact that thoughts influence actions. We saw it there with the video Sheldon, Dr. Levy showed, right? We know that our thoughts influence actions. Why do we want to say that negative self-talk to ourselves? We need to get our own self-affirmations. Muhammad Ali, what was his self-affirmation? I am the greatest. Who else is going to tell you? There need to be quiet moments in your bedroom, quiet moments when you're brushing your teeth, that we need to reaffirm, I am the captain of my ship and the master of my fate. That is my affirmation. I came from a school of 1,000 people. I lived in a town of 1,000 people for 15 years. There's no reason that I should be in charge of the National Athletic Department building Maple Leaf Gardens. But I am the captain of my ship and the master of my fate. If I don't say it, if I don't believe it, no one else will. How do you build self-confidence? Get away from the people who will tear you down. There's enough of that. Muhammad Ali, I am the greatest. There is no one better than me. It's a difference between hubris and ego and false pride. It's just reminding yourself in quiet, silent moments. I put it down on a list. It's right beside my mirror, right? About all the things that make me who I am. Because I make enough mistakes, and the newspapers will recognize it, and people around me will recognize it, and they'll tear me down. And pretty soon I'll begin to believe it. There was a time when my confidence was really low. There was a time when I took this job, when I came from Iowa, I don't know if I could do it. I had to bring out my self-confidence letter. A letter I wrote to myself when I was feeling good. Ivan, congratulations on getting your PhD before 40. I am 40, under. Congratulations on winning a national championship. Good job on raising 3 good kids and marrying the right woman. I wrote a letter to myself. It was my own brag sheet, my own letter about the things I was proud of. Because there are moments, and we'll all experience them in our career, in our life, in our job hunting, in our relationships, when we are not feeling good about who and what and where we are. And I had to bring out that letter and read it time and time again for a period of about 2 weeks to weather me through that storm. It was important. Stop the self-talk, the negative self-talk. If you'll watch, you'll see some athletes, they'll have a little bandage or a little brand around them. Lance Armstrong's a perfect one. What's his self-affirmation? Live Strong isn't a brand. It was to remind them of who he was. Live strong. Then it became a brand. He would move that from one arm to the next arm when doubt and fear came into his mind. Live strong. Put it on there. Let's go. We'll all have it. Replace it. 2 ways to build self-confidence. Worried about my time, I'm going to tell you of one way that you can build self-confidence in others. We are coaches and educators. We are teachers. We are people who will create value in the world. And in doing that, we are critical by the nature of what we do. I am a coach. I want you to score a goal. Ball went over high. Dang it, the ball went high. Thank you, coach. I know that. Feedback tells me that. So what do? I need you to put your elbow or here. I need you to put your knee over the ball. I need to follow through. Boom, land, great. Notice I never made it as a professional. What can we do? We fix mistakes. When I'm fixing that mistake, Johnny, this is terrible. You need to bend your knee. You need to do this. What have I done to Johnny's self-confidence? Bend your knee. Think of this. Next thing you know, Johnny's crushed. Ignore what Johnny does wrong and find Bob or Sally or Frida over here. Great goal, Frida. I loved how you kept your knee low, you followed through, and you landed like this. Great job. Johnny, oh, great. Johnny's not demoralized. His confidence isn't shot. And what I've done is I've built up Frida's. Imagine how we could change the way we parented kids. Instead of, get that glass off the counter, what's wrong with you? If we catch them while they're good. Great job. Great job. Thank you, Alice, for taking your glass to the counter. It sounds simple, but we forget about it. Or as educators, or somebody as a team, if we manage to praise the positive behavior that we wanted to reinforce. We forget it. It sounds so simple. Catch them when they're good. We forget it. It's simple. Here's what they did. There was a study in Kansas that did this. They did video, and we all do video, and we showed the video of them doing the run of the play. This goal happened because the basket wasn't protected. We didn't rotate here right. We needed to do this, and then to cover the slot. And if that's the baseline, improvement of the Kansas State team went like this. Then they said they ignored all of that, and they just showed them the times they did it right. The times they did it perfect, that presented no goals, spoke to the same points, improvement went like that. It changed and revolutionized the way we as coaches interact with our student athletes. We can apply that to the business world. We can apply that to our student group works. We can apply that to our management teams easily. Catch them when they're good. Last and certainly not least, my son is really good at this. Self-confident people interpret feedback the way they choose to. I asked my son, who is by the far terrible athlete, gets it from his dad. The game, they win 5-0. How was the game? Oh, great. I scored 3 goals. I got 2 assists. I'm like, I did not see him touch the puck. But he has his own perception of how he did. I love it. Right? I'm that guy. I'm like, I remember when I was taking when I met my wife, it was in the comments. Paulie, would you like to go to the movies? Ladies? Dingle. And she goes, no. I ask her again, because I think that she just hasn't seen me in the right light. Maybe that's not the wrong shirt on, right? Because I'm interpreting that the way I want to interpret it. Finally, I ask her again. She gives me this one comment, right? Or she sent it to her friend, because that's the way you did it back then. She wouldn't date you unless it was the last person on Earth. The hell was freezing over. There was a small chance we had to save the planet Earth. Some people's like, there's no chance. I'm like, you're saying there's a chance. Right? Because that's how I'm going to interpret it. If I could give you one thing to take from this, it is, no one will believe in you unless you do. Listen to the words of that video. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes. We're supposed to be different, folks. And when people look at us, believe in yourself. Thank you.
Epic. That was awesome. I love it. All right, let's get some feedback, some responses, some takeaways. Rox, you want to go first?
Sure. Sorry for the hair, guys. So I thought it was a great video. Some of my takeaways, I really liked how he was talking about repetition. Like, in order for us to be able to believe in ourselves and to be great at whatever it is that we choose to, like, you have to build repetition. You know, he talked about the soccer player that was kicking the ball up against the wall, like, over and over, 360 times a day for 12 months, you know, and then he became great at what he was good at, you know, and just like any athlete in the world, like, they did that over and over and over. They didn't just like wake up one day and they were like these amazing players, but rather it's repetition. So what is it that you want to get good at, and are you willing to create the habit of repetition in order for you to be great at what it is that you want to do? So I really, really love that. He said pressure builds diamonds. And I really loved how he said, I love the quote, I am the captain of my ship and the master of my fate. You know, if you start believing that you have total control, like, there's nothing that you can't achieve. You know, and that's what the whole video I really, really love, because it all comes down to belief. You know, and he talked about thoughts create actions, but what are your thoughts? Like, what kind of thoughts are you waking up with in the morning? Not only in the morning, but throughout your day. How are you talking to yourself? Are you saying that you can, or are you saying that you can't? Are you doubting yourself, or do you have belief in yourself? And if you don't have all of the belief, it's like saying the I am statements, like I am strong. You know, he talked about that band, Live Strong. Like, put a reminder somewhere of the things that you want to attract. Like in the book, Think and Grow Rich, they talk about that. You know, Les Brown talks about that. Like, whatever it is that you want to achieve, like, repeating it all throughout your day, but repeating it in the form of, like, you're already there and you've already attained it. You know, your mind doesn't know the difference. So I thought that was really, really great. And I love the write a letter to yourself. And I remember when I first started Herbalife, I did that. I remember hearing it somewhere, and I remember going back to it and reading it in tough times, you know, and it made me feel a certain way, like I had already accomplished so much. So that I really, really loved. And you can even, when I used to live with my cousin Ashley, we had Post-its all over our house. Like, we had like little notes all everywhere, like writing these reminders, you know, like, you would look up, you're washing the dish, and there's like a little note right there that said something positive, something that like put you in a certain state. So those are some of the takeaways.
Nice. Awesome. Great. Love it. A couple of takeaways I took from it is repetition is the mother of skill. You know, he like Roxy talked about, the gentleman that was the goalie that did 350 reps for 8 to 12 months, just over and over and over. Now he plays in Europe. Do you think it's any coincidence? You know, he talked about the 10,000 hour rule. To give you guys a little bit of like insight into that, something I really, really believe in. 2 books I've read that really stated in depth. Number one, Malcolm Gladwell, when he was talking about the 10,000 hour rule, the mastery rule, and also a book called The Talent Code by a guy named Daniel Coyle. And what this book was talking about was there's certain hotbeds where multiple high level people will be groomed. For example, Brazil with the soccer players. In Dallas, there's this studio that people like Demi Lovato, Jessica Simpson, multiple pop stars have come through. And he said, and they asked, why is it that these small locations breed such great superstars? And because there was an environment where deep practice happened for long periods of time consistently. Great books, The Talent Code. And what The Talent Code really said, when you're practicing, you're laying down myelin. Myelin is a sheath or a covering that goes around your nerves. So when you want to move in a certain way, your brain sends signals to your hands, arms, and legs to move in a certain way in succession so that you do things, singing, playing tennis, playing soccer, speaking. You have to send signals from your brain to your hands and body and arms and everything to move in a certain way. And what they said was the more that the people did it with consistent practice, their body, their mind, and their brain began to create myelin around the nerve pathways that created faster nerve conduction. It's like, for example, you walk out of your house and you, instead of going to your car, you walk to the left where there's like grass, and you walk into the hills up to the top of the hill. You do it once, you maybe put a little dent in the grass. But if you did it 10,000 times, there would now be no grass. It would be a dirt road, and there would be a perfect path to the top of the hill. How much faster do you think you would do it the 10,000th time when there's no grass in that path and it's a straight line because you can see the whole path? You would probably do it in a third of the time. That's what myelin does. It coats the nerves so that the nerve conduction goes much faster so that you're now much better at the skill. So I, for myself, have definitely experienced this. You know, we were at the gym the other day, and I was making a video for one of the challenges, and a guy was like, man, you didn't say, you didn't stutter, you didn't stop. And I was like, bro, I've been doing this for years. And he was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Anytime people ask me about that, I always tell them I never used to speak in front of class. I used to hate it. But what I started doing when I joined Herbalife is I wanted to share my personal development in the morning, so I'll put my phone on the counter, and I would do a take. I'd be like, okay, you guys, this is how Triple M started. I even called it Quad M one time. I don't know what I was saying. I was like, Monday. It was supposed to be morning motivational minute. That was because it was like a minute on my phone. And then it was Monday. So I was like, man, Monday morning motivational minute. I was like, it's too many M's. So then what happened is I had to get to work. So I could, when I first started, I was doing all these takes. It was like, oh, man, I messed up. It wasn't perfect. I got to start over. And it was like, Aubrey, you're going to be late for work. You got to just one shot. We're going to put it up. If it sucks, it's too bad. So I started doing it, and I would correct myself in the video. And the more I did that one take, because then I got in the mindset of there is no second take. You got to do it like this. I started to build that muscle or build that nerve pathway, as you could say. And I just built it up. And I've used it on a daily basis for over 3 years now. So I'm not at a mastery level, but that's why I've been able to cultivate it better than I was before when I didn't even want to speak in front of class. Now I'm more comfortable because I repeated the action multiple times. So whatever you want to do, suggestion, how are you repeating it on a daily to weekly basis? If it's in your Herbalife business, how are you repeating your wellness evaluations, your invites, your mentoring sessions, your own personal health and fitness and nutrition and mindset goals? How are you repeating that on a daily basis? If you're getting in the best shape of your life, you're a client or a team member that's getting in the best shape of life, how are you repeating that on a daily to weekly basis? What are you doing for your activity? How are you doing your habits throughout your day, your morning, your lunch, your dinner, your snacks? What are you building on a daily basis? Because everybody has habits. Habits are something you just do consistently, repeatedly, but not everybody has habits that get them where they want to go. You know, smokers have a habit too. They smoke. That's their habit. So what are your habits? How are they building you? Are they what you want? And then I like the end where he was talking about self-talk. He talked about Muhammad Ali. I even like the example of Muhammad Ali and Kanye West. Now, Kanye, I like some of his music. I know he's a bit wild sometimes, but I got to give it to the guy. You know, he was able to come into the music scene and really make a huge name for himself because of the belief he had in himself. And I always remember I used to be like, man, this dude is kind of like, you know, he's got a huge ego. He's like so like big-headed. And he was like, he said in an interview one time, he's like, you got to be your biggest fan. Nobody else is going to be. Like, besides your mom, nobody else is going to be your biggest fan. So you got to be your biggest fan along with your mom. But don't just, like, if your mom's telling you, yeah, you're great, everybody else isn't going to tell you that. You need to have another person in your corner because even mom's not going to be there the whole time. You're going to have to get out into the real world sometimes, and mom isn't going to be able to be there when you get hurt or when you get upset or when somebody doesn't praise you like you've been praised at home. You got to be able to come back and praise yourself back up, not in an ego way, but in a hubris way, he said. Hubris versus ego, or humility versus ego. Believing in your skills not to be big-headed, but believing in your skills because you were born with all the tools necessary to be successful. So those I really like. The live strong, putting up stuff in your thing. Me personally, every time I wake up in the morning when I'm brushing my teeth, I look in the mirror and I say positive affirmation. That's what works for me. For you guys, I hope that you guys find what works for you. So live strong. Let's get it. So let's hear a few shares from some of you. Who wants to share? Anybody excited to share? Or we can call on somebody. I always like calling on people too. Let's get it. Myra and Susie, were you guys able to hear the video? No.
We weren't. To be honest, we got called into the office when.
Okay. Don't worry. Let's see if we can get
What
Miriam.
about any takeaways from what we just said?
Let's get it. Here, Miriam, you're good. You're unmuted. What's up?
Bit of the video. Hi.
Hey.
Hi. I heard a little bit of it, and I like that what Rocky was saying about the Live Strong bracelet. How there's a reminder there, and we need that reminder every day on how to keep going every day, keep motivated, keep moving. I like that.
Awesome.
Absolutely. One thing that works is sometimes writing on your mirrors with whiteboard markers, because you can erase it easy with positive affirmations. I love it.
Yeah.
Great job. Great share, Miriam. Steve or Gladys, you guys got any shares? Let's see. Steve, you're live. Let's get it. We can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
All right, good morning. Well, that was a great clip from start to finish. It was quite difficult for me to take notes, but the quick notes I took were thoughts influence actions. Also, I'm the captain of my ship. That stood out to me. Also was write a letter to myself, like that Armstrong takeaway too, where either you wear a bracelet or to me, I feel like just writing a letter to myself when I start going through those moments, those doubts where things are kind of down and out, and it's like, it's not happening for me. Things are just, you know what I'm talking about? So it's like, where's that letter? Like, I need to read over this letter and just kind of get back on track, and then just, continue on the journey and the process, and trust the process the whole time. And so I thought that was awesome. What else? Reps, like Roxy mentioned, like the repetition over and over to be great. Like, all these athletes, they do that on a daily basis. They practice and practice and practice. And that's also something that we all need to do on a daily basis in whatever we're doing in our lives, to become a better coach or a better distributor or whatever that is. So it was just all around good stuff. Master of my fate. I like what Roxy mentioned too, like write notes like everywhere, like little reminders, and just keep writing notes and stuff. And every day you walk into your bedroom, you see those notes. And like yesterday, I was just cleaning my room and I found some pictures of my kids and some of my family. So I just started to put them up on my wall, because when I see them, it's like that motivates me. That just drives me like to just push more, give more, and just, give everything I have in life, And so those reminders were great. Self-talk, I do that quite a bit. And so it's like, just, self-talk, I think that's huge. And that's pretty much it, I think. I thought it was a great clip. I was glad to tune in.
There you go. Great stuff. Thanks for the share. Awesome points. All right, you guys. So we're at the end of the call. Thank you guys for all the shares and the takeaways. Definitely hope you guys get some positive self-talk, because like you said, there's enough negative out there. So thank you guys. We're going to post a recording, repost the recording, tag your friends and family. Always let them know. Monday morning, 8 a.m., we always start the week strong. And this week on Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, we're going to have our Herbalife Nutrition Power Call, working on getting a great guest speaker for you guys that has an amazing transformation that's going to be sharing some of his tips, tools, and favorite Herbalife products. So that's Wednesday at 6 p.m. You guys have a great week. It's going down. Let's finish out March strong. Adios. Peace.